Sure. It goes back to that confluence theme again.
Yeah.
So now we have a generation that's running church.
Yes.
That's back from you guys, and their understanding of what church is informs everything they do.
Yeah.
And it's a power structure that makes sure that that's the people who are running the church. Then you have this generation under them, and we think you're flighty and changeable and all, and you are. But now you're beginning to see, along with these ideas they present, all the alternatives.
Yeah.
And you realize that people didn't, this isn't church from the time of 2000 BC or, that church is something they invented because it wasn't what they were doing before their generation, and it wasn't what they were doing before their generation. So you're more or less seeing that we have more information than you do. And yeah, we're not impressed with Strong's Concordance because we can go on the internet and look that up 18 different ways.
Yeah.
But it makes the foundation of your religion a very slippery, sandy place unless you go back to the document. And that's under debate because now, the King James Version was changed a lot.
To write a lot of Jewish
They've
culture out.
neutralized the Jewish out of it, down to the names. The renaming of people is probably the biggest one where it's like, nope, those names aren't going to do.
Yeah.
And they changed all their names.
Well, that's where we were reading Esther a couple weeks back all together. And, I have the new King James Version, and someone had the ESV, someone had the NLV, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
There were literally 3 different sets of names in each of there. Now, like for me, like looking at Bible, like I love looking at Christian history and kind of like seeing how everything came about. And that was one thing I did discover with the King James Version of the name change and kind of canceling out the Jewish culture. But the problem is the King James is like the closest to what the original Hebrew translation and the original Greek translation were, with the changing of the names and the events and the things. So now it's hard to kind of navigate when I'm reading an ESV versus the King James, because I'm like,
the steady ground of truth has become wobbly.
Yeah.
The story of the Garden of Gethsemane, they come to get him. They said, we're looking for this guy.
Yeah.
And he says, I am he. And they all fall to the ground. And you're like, okay. The actual translation is he says, I am. And it's the same I am that when Moses asked who God was, he said, I am. That's the I am he used in the garden. That's why they fell to the ground. Because that I am is a different, you can't get the exact meaning just by saying the English words.
Yeah.
But they added the he.
Yeah.
For what reason? Don't know.
Yeah.
When the facts are changeable and when they're not interpreted always the same way because the language has been changed. The original Hebrew had vowels missing, and there's just things that they don't quite understand about the way they meant things.
Yeah.
Where's your truth?
Yeah.
Where's the basis for your truth? I say to my wife, the only basis for truth I see is you got 2 versions of, the beginning in Genesis, and they're both different from each other.
Yeah.
So, okay, clearly that's sort of a general idea. There's parts later that are fairly specific.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm going to take my religion from Yeshua, if I'm going to take one, because he said, just came from God. He tells me what to say. He tells me what to do. I don't do anything he doesn't tell me to do, and this is how you should relate to him.
Yeah.
That's the only part that's not debatable.
Yeah.
That part is 100% right there like he said it. And for me, he was pretty clear about it's really simple. And anybody who tries to make it complicated is an idiot.
Yeah.
He said it a bunch of different times.
Yeah.
When he wanted to speak about something that was a general overarching theme, he used a parable.
Yeah.
And many parables in there.
Yeah.
When he wanted to speak to something very specifically, he used really direct words.
Yeah.
And we parse those words like they're these other Old Testament words that the meaning might be lost. The meaning's not lost in his words. They're very clear, and he said so himself. So for me, that's what I'd base my religion on. If you read the Bible and create a religion from it, just by reading it, nothing else, no preconceptions, you read the Bible, here's my religion, it would not resemble modern Christianity at all, I don't think. I just, there's so many things we do just because that's, well, what we grew up in
Yeah.
that we later rejected.
Yeah.
And then what we created from that, those are just reactions to reactions to reactions.
Yeah.
From what? From the original split from the Catholic Church,
Yeah.
they didn't have it right.
Yeah.
They admit they didn't have it right.
Mm.
They're admitting it still to this day. They'll be admitting it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But they basically said, yeah, we know, the Sabbath's on a different day, but hey, we're Catholic.
Yeah.
So, and nothing against Catholics. I'm just saying that all religion is some kind of an interpretation that got filtered through generations of people who wanted it their way.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Make sure to check out our homepage at talktome.buzzsprout.com. You can also find us on Facebook at Talk to Me Media. You can also check us out on Instagram. Handle is TalkToMeWMikeV, and we're also on Twitter. Handle TalkToMeWMikeV as well. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for the support, and remember, everyone has a story to tell.